Rise and shine, beloved great grand rising, great grand rising. Hold on just 1 second. Let me go get my other device. I forgot to bring it. Okay, we are here. We are here. We are here. All righty. Come on, tag a friend, tag a family member. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live. Let me throw a great grand rising up on Facebook. Let me throw a great grand rising up here over on Facebook. Come on, tag a friend, tag a family member. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live. We are here. We are here. We are here. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see what we got going on. Yes, we're here. Okay, let me throw up a grand rising here in the comments and we're ready to go. How y'all doing out there in your neck of the woods? In your part of town? Great grand evening, great grand rising, great grand morning, wherever you're tuning in from. We are here. All right, beloved. Let's go ahead and activate what I call the Success Mind. Grand Rising, Reese, thanks for joining us live. And let's go ahead and activate the Success Mind. We're going to go ahead and place a hand on heart, a hand on your core. Take a good healing deep breath in. Exhale and relax. Crown of the head, sole of the feet, relax. Crown of the head, sole of the feet, relax. Turning the focus inward, we relax deeper. Tapping into the rich inner life, the kingdom within, we breathe and relax. One more for the power of 3. Healing deep breath in. Exhale and relax. All right, beloved, we're so thankful and grateful that we are here today. I want to pick up and talk about this. So much is happening, and today I entitled this, Don't Get Played. Whatever you do, don't get played. You know that you are divinely guided, you're divinely supported, you're divinely protected. There is so much going on, and the opposition is working overtime to get your mind. Can you type for me? There's a battle of the mind. There's a battle for the mind, a battle for your mind, for your attention, for your emotions. There is so much going on. And then even myself sitting here doing this, I can feel the distractive pulls, asking questions like, how are you going to continue to just create? How can you continue to just go about your business according to your divine plan with all the noise and all the crazy and all the chaos going on? So this is what I want for us today. Yes, there's definitely a battle for the mind. Yes, there is, more so than ever. And the reason why that is, and I want to say today, don't get played, y'all. Don't get played. Is because they know that if your mind is distracted, if your mind is in fear, if you're worried about your ability to survive, your ability to thrive, then they have us. I'm saying us because I can feel it as well. And then the question is, especially if you are someone who's vocal and you speak out, or you're here as a disruptor, they want you so embroiled and so enthralled in what they want to put out that you are leaving listening to that divine voice that comes from creative spirit. And so this is where I want us to settle today. I want us to settle on calming the nervous system, feeling safe in the body, and being able to shift up where you can hear or receive the crown lobe, what's coming from the crown chakra, right? From that divine realm. and then have the courage and the faith to act on it. One of the things I noticed that I've caught myself talking about in the last few weeks is that something shifted. Like, I never usually pay a lot of attention to what things cost because I know all my needs are met, all my bills are paid, every way's made. But I've caught myself in the last few weeks because I've noticed that the price for groceries has gone up. What used to last probably a month, I'm spending in 2 weeks, right? So I've been noticing that the last couple of months, and I've been talking about it because to me it's mind blowing, because I don't know where I was before when everybody else was screaming about it, but I definitely see it now. And so there's a battle for the mind. And I noticed that I even slipped over into a realm of paying too much attention to what's going on in the physical realm. Now, are we in denial? No. Are we pretending? No. We recognize, and we've been talking about this for the last several weeks, talking about this divine interruption. But I know this now more than ever. I've been saying this over and over and over again. We have to have the right support. We have to support one another in staying focused on the forward movement so that we can stay relaxed enough, at ease enough in the body to feel safe enough to move forward. Somebody told me that my mentor shares this saying that you can only you move at the speed of safety. According to how safe you feel, that's the speed that you're going to be able to move at. And if you're not feeling safe, and safety is not about you're afraid somebody's going to hurt you or somebody's going to mug you or somebody's going to rob you. That's not the safety. The safety that I'm speaking to goes all the way back to an early impression that you've encountered in your life, because that's when we set up the patterns. I want you to hear this. I know we've talked about this so many times as we were evolving and growing and waking up. We've talked about this, but I'm seeing more than ever that the body is familiar with certain trauma patterns, and the body, because it's familiar with that, when it's triggered, it will automatically send you back around that corner again. And so when we understand this, that there are some things that's just living in the memory of the body, we'll recognize when we are triggered and we'll move through it. Because trust me when I tell you, all of this happens on a semi unconscious level. I say semi because in the moment you can be aware of something but not aware. And then when you go up the road a few paces, I've done this many times, and you see the result of it, then sometimes you're confused as to how you got there. I used to tell the folks in my ministry when I was in pastoral ministry, and we talked about and we used the concept of sin. And I used to say to them, the sin, the act of the sin is never the issue, right? The issue is, where did you disconnect? Where did you become misaligned? That led you to the final act, because by the time you're acting out, that didn't just happen. There was a thought, there was an emotion, there was a memory that triggered something on an unconscious or subconscious level, and you started reacting to it without recognizing you were reacting. And remember the difference between reaction and respond. I said react because when we react, always remember you are on the level of the opposition. Please put that in your notes. When you are reacting, you come down to the level of whatever's bothering you, whatever's triggering you. But when you respond, You're coming from your divine nature. Got to start from the core of the issue. Absolutely. So now this is what we want to recognize. We want to recognize what's going on in the body. So I was supposed to be, I was in a relaxed mode. I was watching a program that I'm watching, and it seemed that I was, I should have been relaxing. But then my spirit prompted me and said, do a body scan. And just still there watching the program, I did a body scan. And right away, I realized my jaws were clenched. So many times when you think that you are distracting or you're soothing or you're just chilling, do a body scan and recognize what you're doing. Remember, I told you sometime I would notice sometime if I do a body scan, I could even be here and my whole body is like this. You don't recognize it until you put attention on it. So I did the body scan, started relaxing from the head down, noticing what was going on in the body, and I realized my jaws were clenched. I was just sitting there like this with my jaws clenched. All of that says there is something else going on underneath all of this. And as I began to go down and just scan the whole body, I found that my stomach was tight as well. All of that is telling you that you are reacting to something that your body is familiar with. So when you feel the anxiety or the stress and all that extra cortisol is being released in the body and you're in fight or flight. So when I was sitting there with my jaws clenched, I was vibrating something other than what I desired to vibrate. I was not vibrating creativity, rest, zero. I was in the fight, flight, freeze mode, right? That autonomic response. I was there without even recognizing I was there. So there's a lot coming at us. There's a lot of stimuli coming from every direction, and there's a battle for the mind. Because if you can shift, if they could get you to shift over into being overly concerned with everything that's going on, they have your mind. Now, I want you to think about it like this. For those of you that come from old school vernacular, and I don't use it too much, but I want to use it for this analogy right here, is that in the old days, we would talk about devils and demons and all of that, but everything is energy, beloved. And I want you to think that the longer you allow yourself to vibrate from that fight, flight, fear, freeze, response, or reaction, you are feeding the energy that really strives and thrives on those emotions. So if you can just recognize that when I'm in these types of reactions or emotions, I am feeding and inviting those base type energies that feed on that. So I said, don't get played, beloved. Where we have to be instead, we're going to have to disconnect and let go. Disconnect and let go. Even if you understand what's happening in the 3D realm, as we said, and many of us have already unplugged from many news outlets. Every now and again, I'll check in. And I said, they talking about stuff that's so old, they're still repeating the same thing over and over. They need that fear. They need the juice from that energy, and we're not going there. There's so many games being played, right? So as we look at this and we make a decision, what I want for us today, I want us to come present, right, to this sacred moment. I want us to make an agreement. I want us to make a covenant today that you're going to do whatever it takes to calm down, to come into divine rest and allow yourself to create. Create one teeny tiny step a day, just one. Just one teeny tiny step per day, just one. And when you get one step done in the direction that you want to go in, that's a good thing. So for me, I recognize one of the first things I have to do is to make sure my body is in homeostasis, making sure that my body is not in this fight or flight response, that I don't have too much cortisol being released in my body, right? That is a reaction to stress. So we're not attacking the stress because there will always be a stressor somewhere. Please put that in your notes. There will always be a stressor somewhere. So while we were lulled asleep in our religious experiences, one of the misnomers that we grew up with is that everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be at ease in order for you to feel like your life was good. That is such a lie. Can you please put that in your notes and don't forget it? That was such a fairy tale. So that we're thinking in order to enjoy life and to live and to feel that we are successful and we're prosperous, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be at peace. No such thing. But because there's always going to be the potential for stressors to be in your life. Excuse me. There's always going to be that potential for stressors to be in your life, for something to want to come up against what you're trying to do or what you want to do or the direction that you're going in. And it gets to be so daunting that when you allow yourself to be affected by the stressors, as I said, you'll wake up months later and say, how did I get here? Right? How did I get here? But it didn't happen. Remember, sin or the disconnection or missing the mark, that is what sin means, missing the mark. It doesn't happen at the point of your action with the vice or what you call sin. It happened long before that with a thought, with an emotion, with a threat. Yes, such a lie. Second time I heard that in the teaching since Friday, confirmation. Yes, absolutely. So the distraction, the stressors can be daunting. As I said, we're not in denial. We're not pretending like all the crazy is not happening. We're not pretending like you're spending 2 times more, 3 times more on your grocery bill, your appliances, your utilities, right? We're not pretending like that's not happening. We don't want to get locked, as I caught myself doing, talking about that all the time. In order to get out of that, you have to shift away from it, right? Fearing scarcity, fearing lack, fearing that there's not enough, fearing that you don't have enough. This is where I want us to land today. I want us to connect together. I want us to breathe until you feel the nervousness, the anxiety, the stress start calming down in the body, where there's some serotonin, where you could use the melanin that turns into serotonin, where you could turn, what is the other chemical response that makes us feel good? It's escaping my mind right now, right? But you want to shift in the body where you can relax and be at peace. The easiest way to get there is with a gateway breath. Some call it the box breath. In for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, rest for 4. and just do that, because I told you that prana, that chi, that oxygen, that divine source and substance that we call oxygen is filled with the dopamine, yes, endorphins, yes, that's it, yes, thank you, yes. We can naturally generate that and start bringing the levels down in the body, the levels of stress, that level of cortisol that makes you want to run, freeze. And then when you're not consciously aware, once you're in that place where everything is out of whack, you could be stuck there for months, sometime years. How do you know you're there? Because you keep looking around saying, why am I still in this vibrational frequency when I want to be in that? Why am I still surrounded by this reality when I want to create that? That lets you know that there's so much going on. So, beloved, this is my high mental recommendation, my earnest and sincere plea. Let's do the sacred work to bring the body back into homeostasis, back into balance, back into where the chemical response in the body is balanced, where the nervous system is managed. Then all of that, let me speak to this because I feel this. This is for all of us, for me included. All of that brilliance and that creative energy that you have, that ability. A client and I yesterday, we were talking about divine speech, being able to communicate at such a high level. Some of us have all of that, but we're stuck in a dimension of fear, resistance. The shadow side of you is in full blown. And again, the shadow is nothing to curse or rebuke. That is your survival mechanism. We have to do this. So talk back to me if you know this. Your body has to come out of that fight or flight response, right? That sympathetic nervous system has to calm down. It has to calm down, because until it does, you don't even make the right choice. And for all of us that know, it's time to fast. It's time to shift what we're doing with the body. As Reese said, we got to go back to the core, to the source. We take for granted, because in the old church, right, in our form experience, all we talked about was killing the flesh, killing the flesh, killing the flesh, killing the body, all of that. No, beloved, all of this is a part of our divine makeup. And we need to bring it all into balance. You're not just going to kill the flesh, you're going to manage it. Because that cycle that is with you from the core, all of those signatures, energy signatures in the body that want you to have a trauma response or a trauma reaction when you're triggered, all of that is a part of who you are. And you learn to manage it. And the better you manage it, the more you move away from it. It's like you put it to sleep. That's why we have what they would call in the addiction community relapses, falling off the wagon, because all of that reaction to trauma or being triggered is a part of the body's memory. It's a part of your mental and emotional realm, a part of that story. So the first thing we have to do, that's why you're feeling that nudge to fast and pray and meditate, because you feel that you need to calm down. You need that. You could feel that is what anxiety is made of. It's a combination, it's a cocktail of all these things operating and sitting and resting in your body, and in your mental and emotional realm is responding to that or reacting to it. So we close with this today. Come on, let's just do this together. I want this for myself as well. Take a good healing breath in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Slow. Come on, in, slow. And relax. Again, in, out, relax deeper. One more again, in, out, rest and relax. We have to do that. We have to do that, beloved, until you can get your body to calm down and calm back. I fight anxiety, but I do not live with any fear. Exactly. Because it's a combination of many other things. It's not just about fear. I get that. Because I'm the same way. I'm not going to fear anything, but I want my body that has the memory of what I used to fear triggering and responding or reacting. And those energy signatures in the body are real because it remembers. It remembers what it's like when you don't have enough. It remembers when you got in trouble with the relationship, when you got dumped, when you were betrayed. The body remembers. So we have to intentionally calm that nervous system. And the fasting, this is why we used to fast and pray. What did it do? It stopped us putting in all the things that fed that energy in the body. It shifted our focus from the problem into focusing either on the word, going into prayer, praying in the spirit long enough to shift. That's all we was doing, was shifting our attention so that something else. And when we would pray in the spirit long enough, that's the same thing we do with breathing. It's the same thing. We would pray in the spirit long enough that we would shift out. But then when we came out of that, we were not experienced enough to how to manage our nervous system. So we would go back into worry, concern, not enough. It's not going to work. It's not working for me. Can y'all see, talk back to me, can you see how we just get ourselves all balled up, all tied up, all jumbled up? And many times it's about something you're not even aware you're thinking about. That is the main thing. Yes, we see it's about management. And my high mental request today, all this week, don't get played. Don't be distracted. Don't get overly involved in what's going on in 3D. Let's stop talking about it and feed. This is for me because I've been talking about it. Feeding that energy, allowing the body to come into homeostasis. I could feel my body is not in full alignment and agreement. The last few days had high stress marks in it, but we calm down, we relax, we breathe. All right, beloved, we're going to sow seed today. We're still working with a $28 seed, $8 seed, $8.88, $18.88. Get in where you fit in, $82, wherever you fit in. Let's be a blessing. Let's sow seed. And you already know that this is for people who will watch the replay later and they don't know, or for new people watching for the first time. This is all the ways that you can sow, right? And no SSL tomorrow. We're on summer break. Okay, beloved, have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Love you guys. Bye for now.